remain rigid in space, so you can utilize that for an aeroplane.
Mhm.
The plane-
Absolutely.
Was to start shoehorning in the ether. The ether is the most important thing to these people, not the geometry of the Earth. It's the ether. It's all based on the ether, which all comes back to general relativity, right? Anyway, it's all nonsense. But the point is that it's all based on the ether. So that's why Bob Nodell started speaking about an apparent drift within a fiber optic gyroscope in the documentary in 2018. It's like, why is he saying this nonsense? Why is he saying this? The baller is going to have a field day. Yeah. No, he's going to have a field day. Because he wants that out there so he can start making ether claims.
That's
And
correct.
The rest of the people,
It's their God, isn't it? Literally.
Yeah.
How can you get into
Following
Bob's
ether, not all
mind
of
and
them.
know why he introduced that?
Couldn't
He
agree more.
introduced that because that's what they observed in the interferometry data.
Did they?
What did they
How can
observe?
you say it's so
Hold
he
on.
can
Number one.
introduce
Hold on, Nathan. Number
ether?
one. Did they observe that? I've not actually seen that.
You have to
Tell me
go
what I was asking?
to what's his name? It's not actually Bob's gyro, it's somebody else. And he has it on
Mike
his
Kavanagh.
YouTube, all the data that he collected, and he records his computer screen from the ring laser gyro.
It was a fiber optic
Somebody
gyro.
should know his name.
Hold on.
Was he graphing that data?
Mike Kavanagh.
Just one second. Just one second. You're saying that. What? Break it down for me. Mike Kavanagh shows his computer screen showing that gyroscopes aren't fit for purpose in planes.
Oh, I should know the name of the guy.
The name's
He
not
helped
important.
I thought it was Mike
organize
Kavanagh.
the.
Hold on, Brian. Just the name's not important. Just we've got a principle that's claimed in terms of what gyroscopes are used for, right? They remain rigid in space, so you can utilize that for an aeroplane,
Mhm.
right? So it holds the plane
Absolutely.
rigid in terms of its dimensionality in free space. And if you lose the visual horizon or lose control of the plane and you're spinning out of control, you can look down at that instrument and rely upon it to be fixed in space. Now,
Rigid.
Sure, but
rigid. I'm
Do you-
nearly done.
I mean,
I'm nearly
what are
done.
your
I'm
sources on the?
nearly done. Thank you. I've only just explained
Sorry.
the basic principles of a gyro. Thank you. However, you're saying that this demonstration by Mike Kavanagh or whoever shows that gyros are not fit for purpose. They drift at 15 degrees an hour, rendering all gyroscopes on all planes useless. Because they're not remaining fixed in space, they're drifting at a rate of 15 degrees an hour, then they're useless.
The interferometry of the ring laser gyros do not show a constant rate of rotation. They demonstrated with the one that they purchased that it shows different rates at different elevations, and they surmised from that.
Hold
that
on, stop a second before you.
I guess-
Stop. Before we get on to what they've surmised, you're saying that this specific gadget did not behave like all the gadgets used in aircraft and gyroscopic motion in general, remaining fixed in space. This one didn't do that. This one did something different.
Well, that was my question to you. What is your source on how ring laser gyros function?
Stop. I'm not making any claims about ring laser gyros. I'm summarizing what you're telling me. Right? I know what a gyro is, regardless of whether it's a ring laser gyro or not. In this case, fiber optic gyro. Okay. I'm asking you.
You can't conflate the both.
My bad.
You can't conflate the two.
My bad. I'm asking you if this one didn't do what all the others do. If it's defective or not. Did it display drift at 15 degrees an hour where the other ones don't? Because they'd be useless if they did. I'm asking you that.
I'm not. You're assuming that they're useless if they show drift.
Right, let me just get it clear with you one more time, as we already did this once. Gyroscopic usefulness is that it remains fixed, rigid in space. Correct?
Absolutely.
If it drifts at a rate of 15 degrees an hour, then its reference to the plane would show it's drifted around its gyro with the plane attached to that gyro cage at 15 degrees an hour. Right, that's not useful for avionics. Is that clear? Or are you disagreeing with that? Do you disagree with that principle of avionics or not? It must remain rigid in fixed space for it to be useful for flying.
I'm asking, where is your source?
Why are you asking? I'm not making a claim with gyros and ether. You are. And Bob is. Now, if you're saying that this drifts where the other ones don't, then it's defective. I'm trying to establish if it's defective or not. If the other ones do drift,
is defective and all
Stop blabbering.
Yeah, he won't. He can sense the end is nigh, so he needs to talk through the concise questions he's being asked.
You're claiming that
I'm not claiming anything, dickhead. Stop repurposing and refashioning my questions into something that I'm claiming I'm not. I'm not claiming anything. I'm detailing facts of what gyros do. They remain fixed in space. That's factual. Their usefulness is because of that fact. If they moved around in the cage at 15 degrees an hour, they wouldn't be useful. That's a fact. I'm not asking or postulating anything. That's a fact.
In a ring laser gyroscope, there's no cage. What are you talking about?
Oh, so it's drifting because the gyro itself is drifting then. Again, violating its usefulness. So it's not that the cage drifting around the gyro in the ring laser gyro or fiber optic gyro, it's that it's not remaining fixed in space at all. So totally useless then.
That's what I'm saying. None of us.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not what you're saying. You're saying he's proving ether drift with this piece of shit that sounds defective. And I'm saying if it's defective and drifting, it's not useful.
I'm pretty sure it's in the instruction manual to check whether it drifts or not, and if it does, to make sure that it stops doing that, because it won't work.
It's not supposed to do that. That's my point. If it's showing 15 degrees an hour drift, it's faulty.
You're defective because you don't like the ether idea.
Sorry, ether idea. Does this show drift where other gyros don't? In other words, does it show something that the other ones, which are utilising its useful property, there's him interrupting the concise question again. The end is nigh, isn't it, Nathan? That's why you need to interrupt this concise question about how useful this tool would be. If it drifts at 15 degrees an hour, precisely, pray tell, what could this be used for in practical application? A gyro that drifts at 15 degrees an hour? Because it sounds like a defective gyro that's not useful for anything. But perhaps you can tell me where it's useful, given that it drifts.
Over me. I'm just trying to...
Do it again, dickhead, and I will remove you from this call. You either listen to what I say without talking through me, or I kick you out. That's your choice. Don't bleat and moan about how I'm talking through you. I'll be the one asking the questions. Is this useful? How is a ring laser or fiber optic gyro that drifts at 15 degrees an hour practically useful? How is it applied with that drift in effect when it's being used? Tell me that.
I don't know the answer to that.
So this is a gizmo that sounds faulty because it doesn't do what gyros do to be useful. It doesn't do that. And you're not telling me about any practical application for this 20-gram piece of shit that's faulty. Because it doesn't have a practical application as far as you're aware. Now, if you can show me that you can put a drifting gyro into practical application, then I might take this seriously. Or consider why this gizmo that sounds faulty does what it does. It's not a natural phenomena, though. It's just a gizmo, a man-made gadget that sounds like it's broken.
Well, it's like the same thing with QE claiming that his...
We're not talking about QE, we're talking about drifting gyros. And if they're drifting, they're broken because they're not useful anymore. And if your drifting gyro is claimed to be proving ether, then it's not a natural phenomena. It's not like when QE does anything. It's like when you guys claim you've got a natural phenomena because you look at a broken gadget.
Natural phenomena to look up in the sky and see the stars move.
Oh, really? And so you think that this natural phenomena of the stars movement has been scienced with this gadget, do you?
All I'm doing is looking at the...
All you're doing is ignoring me. Do you think that the sky rotation, the movement that we observe in the stars, has been scienced with this ring laser or fiber optic gyro? Is that what you think?
Is science observable?
Sorry, do you ask me what science is, or ask me whether or not the fiber optic gyro has scienced the stars movements?
That's a good question.
Because the answer's no. The answer is definitely not science. So why would you be inferring or implying in any way that this faulty gadget is somehow scientifically validating the ether and the SAR movement when that is definitely not what it's doing?
Well, you have no evidence or...
Sorry, I'm not claiming anything. I don't need
principles to
evidence.
prove
Don't need
that.
any evidence for anything. I'm not claiming anything. You're claiming ether.
That his gyro is...
I don't need any evidence. Don't tell me what I'm not providing evidence for, ether idiot.
You're claiming his...
I'm not claiming anything.
What's your proof of that?
Proof of what? I'm not claiming anything. You're defending ether, you stupid idiot.
No,
Have you forgotten where you are and what you're claiming? Your claim's ether. I'm not claiming anything. Let's not get lost in what you have failed to prove that you are claiming. Your ether, your claim, I don't need to evidence anything.
I'd keep visiting, but I've got to bring my daughter to the sitter, but...
Okay, bye-bye, Dumbo. Take your daughter to the sitter. Meanwhile, you haven't got any science for ether, and this faulty gadget that drifts where gyros should remain fixed in space to be useful isn't proving jack, and certainly isn't science. Well done, goodbye.
This is why it triggers me, Chocolate. This is why I get annoyed with it. Numpties like this.
Well, if you could use the data from that and plot it over a graph through time, where time is 90 degrees to space, then you could develop a medium conceptually. We could call it space-time. We could call it ether, either one. But I wonder if that's what he was showing on his computer.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, Nathan had them from the beginning. Nathan says he agreed that it's gyros for rigidity in space, so that airplanes, if they are in bad weather and they can't see, they can, correct their flight. He agreed to that. And then it came to this laser gyro. All the other gyros that work ever have been given a label. See this gyro? It's working, but it's also proving ether. See this gyro? It's working, but it's also proving ether. You'll never find that anywhere. But I just realized all the broken gyros get retired to the ether junkyard because they prove ether.
I would just send the gyro back to the manufacturer.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to establish when he kept on rumpusing me. It's like, do you understand that the useful property that this gyro is supposed to exhibit, you're claiming this isn't being exhibited in this example? It's not remaining rigid. It's drifting at 15 degrees an hour. Oh, no, it's not the cage that's drifting. Oh, so this gyro isn't a gyro. It's not remaining fixed in space. The gyro itself's drifting at 15 degrees an hour, making it utterly useless and not a gyro. No, I'm just talking about how you're not providing me with evidence. That's what I get. I'm not providing evidence for what? I'm not making any claims. I'm shitting on your ether. There has no evidence. Pseudo-scientific when you start posing it as science and then questioning me about how science works. It's a bloody outrage. Not claiming any science here. You try to infer you've got some for your stupid ether that is a direct juxtaposition between bloody counter space and dark matter. That's all you've got. You've just got some used up old heliocentric trash.